Hello everyone, and welcome to the second lesson of the day. And our goal for today is going to be to construct equations uh, based off a situation and solve that equation. So this is actually just a build off of what we were talking about in the previous lesson. And if you felt the previous lesson was easy dealing with solving equations, then this should hopefully be a simple lesson for you too. So I want you guys to remember before we actually go over this, equations are like a balancing scale. When we say x plus 20 equals 45, we mean that both sides of this equation are completely equal, completely balanced. If the scales were at all not perfectly balanced, it'd be an inequality. So keep in mind, when we construct an equation, what we're really doing is we're constructing two situations that are equal to each other. So let's go over an example today. We are told an ostrich that is 108 inches tall is 20 inches taller than 4 times the height of a kiwi. What is the height of a kiwi? Now, we're not talking about the fruit, guys. Look at this wonderful picture right here. This majestic ostrich found in Africa is over 8 feet tall. That is one tall bird. It's taller than everyone in this class. And the kiwi is this little guy right here, very cuddly, also very small. So this is what we're trying to compare right here. We're making an equation to compare this, and based off this situation, we figure out the specific height of a kiwi. All right, so to do that, the very first thing you should do whenever you get a word problem, guys, is step one should be just, let's take a look at this situation and what part of it matters. And honestly, all you really need to do for that is just underline or highlight what really matters. So I see an ostrich is 108 inches. We're dealing with numbers here. We're saying the ostrich is 100 inches tall. That's pretty important. Okay, and it's 20 inches taller. Okay, that right there, 20 inches taller. And then 4 times the height of a kiwi. So we have these three different parts right here. And honestly, a lot of people stop right here. But here's the problem. When you're looking at these and you're focusing on the numbers, you actually aren't focusing on the most important part of the problem. And that is, what is this even asking us? What's it asking us to do? And our goal is to find the height of a kiwi. That right here. That is the most important part turned purple. So with this information, we now need to construct an equation. So the question is, what two things, in fact, if I go back for a moment, guys, remember, it's supposed to be a balancing act. So what two things are going to be balanced? Well, obviously it has to be the height of a ostrich versus the height of a kiwi, right? That's what we're focusing on, ostrich versus kiwi. We also need to keep in mind that our goal is to find the height of a kiwi. We don't know what that is. Let's make that x. So now with this information, let's have our equation. If this is supposed to be an ostrich versus a kiwi, don't we already know how tall an ostrich is? Yeah, it's 108 inches tall. So this one on one side is going to be 108. Now, we're told that it's 20 inches taller than 4 times the height of a kiwi. I hear 4 times the height. And our goal is to find the height. Isn't that just going to be 4 times x right here? But for these to be equal, we're going to need to add an extra 20 right here. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably confused right here because you look, oh, ostrich is 108 inches tall, and it's 20 inches taller. Should I put the plus 20 on the ostrich side? Well, guys, if I put a plus 20 on the ostrich side, wouldn't that give the ostrich 20 more inches? It wouldn't be equal to the kiwi. Our goal is to make these equal. Now, the good news is, guys, I know there's a little more work. We actually have to solve the equation, but let's be honest. What's the hardest part of these problems? Is it solving the equation, or is it just setting everything up? Once everything's set up, here's the ostrich's height, and that's equal to this modifier with the kiwi's height. We could just do what we were doing in the previous lesson. Reverse the PEMDAS. Let's get rid of the plus 20 first. So the next step is to subtract by 20. And then we're going to deal with that 4, right? Our goal is to get x by itself. We have to get rid of the 20 and the 4. So that's 4 times x. The opposite of times is division. So now we have our steps. Let's subtract 20 on both sides. That cancels out on the right side. 108 minus 20. Take a moment to find that out. You can pause the video if you want, but that's going to be 88. So now we have 88 equals 4x. Now all we have to do is divide both sides by 4. And that's going to give us 22 equals x. Are we done? Is the answer 22? If you said yes, shame on you. It should be 22 inches Never forget your units if we're dealing with a word problem. I am that kind of teacher that would take off points if you don't put down a unit. Technically now, there could be one more thing that we could do. And I'm not going to do that just because I'm running out of space, but if you remember it, we should always, in equations, check our work. We should take this 22, put into the x, make sure it equals 108. However, we ran out of room, so I'm just going to keep that in mind, guys, that you should be checking your work. And that's all it is for the lesson. There was actually only one example. Once again, remember, if you have any questions, ask your teacher, but make sure you try those practice problems, all right? This is Mr. Porter. Hope you guys have a good day. Bye.